started land conservation work, like land trust type work, in late 1980s. But boy, we didn't have many tools then.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think about transactions. We did some big transactions, um, but we could do a better job for ourselves and for the landowners with the tools we have now. I think it's very well supported. I think the land trusts are still in Ontario are very supportive of it
Mm-hmm.
and see it as an integral part of their work. So good job to Allison and people that came before her, like Dave Walker, to have it as a value-added organization for the land trust. I think it's whether it's lobbying or promoting land trust interests and points of view with government, or working on the training and professionalism. Well, there's so much it does to support the land trust. Allison and you will maybe even know better than me now of all the things that you're doing, but tackling insurance issues and just all the dozens of little issues that come up in this work. I think OLTA's been an integral and important part of that. I don't think the land trust would be able to make the kind of progress they do if OLTA hadn't been there to help organize the efforts and pull together and share resources.
I think it's been a really important connector for all of the land trusts in Ontario. I think a community of practice and a hub for knowledge exchange. I don't think we weren't using those terms at the time to describe what we were intending to do with OLTA. And I think that was part of the intention for the organization, was to be that connector and hub. So I think it's been an important place for coming together. And I just remember the people, like the people and the great friends and colleagues along the way. So I'm sure I would forget like lots of people, but like Stu Hiltz came to mind, and Peter Mitchell was really involved, and Kim Gavin, Ian Attridge, Ron Reed, like many of the people you've been speaking to, Christopher Baines, Lisa McLaughlin. All of these people really welcomed me and made me feel really included as a young person who was really at the outset of my education and my career. But I was also really empowered to take on leadership and governance roles within the organization. So I really learned a lot about organizational leadership and governance, which I think has contributed a lot to my career and where I've gone in my work. And, I hope that in the next 20 years that OLTA will continue to be an advocate for the land and the people, how they might play a role in removing barriers and getting people involved.
And I just remember the enthusiasm when things began to come together, in terms of more properties. So there was great enthusiasm for that. There was certainly, I remember the fun of the first strategic planning session, where we sort of mapped out where we wanted to go and how we would go there. And certainly the intent was to have very high standards, helping round up province-wide money to do things. I think you've been doing more lately of tools to help people, for example, to help organizations motivate their volunteers. So I think those kinds of tools, workshops, and things, sharing of information, has been really good stuff that OLTA has done to bring forward. I think advancing the standards for land trusts is important, and because it helps protect us all. And I like your annual meetings. I think they're good sharing sessions. I haven't been able to make some recently, but in the past I've been there, and I will be in the future. I think those sharing sessions often are really helpful. I always gain things, and everyone who goes there, I'm sure, gains tools and insights and this sort of thing. So I think that's a really valuable role that OLTA has done, and I hope will continue.